Model and ex-wife of NFL G.O.A.T Tom Brady, Gisele Bündchen has had a long and storied career in the spotlight. You'll never believe how much her style has changed since the early days. Born and raised in Horizontina, Brazil, Bündchen kicked off her modeling career in the mid-1990s, a period when severe skinniness and the so-called heroin chic style ruled the fashion world. In 1996, Bündchen made her modeling debut at New York Fashion Week. She told Today, more than a decade later, "I came along right from Brazil. I was having a good time, excited to have a job. It was refreshing. Sometimes I ask, why me? I'm from a village of 10,000 people in the south of Brazil. I'm very grateful for my opportunities." By the end of the 90s, Bündchen was credited with single-handedly ending the heroin chic era, promoting a curvier body and sun-kissed glow. Her fashion at the time was very much on top of the Y2K trends, and glitter, leather, and fun eye makeup played a major role in her look. With her perfectly beachy waves and undeniable charisma, it was only a matter of time before she took the fashion industry by storm. However, the star admitted that not everyone believed she had what it takes. She told Harper's Bazaar in 2009, "I'll never forget the day when a woman came up to me and said, 'No, you could never be on a magazine cover. Your face features don't work, your eyes are small, you have a small face but a big nose.' I was only 14, and I had never noticed any of that stuff, you know?" Of course, in hindsight, that person couldn't have been more wrong. As the early aughts were kicking off, Bündchen, who became a Victoria's Secret angel in 2000, was slowly but surely becoming one of the most popular names in the modeling industry.
I guess I'm a little bit nervous because I'm sure that all these girls have been working out for like a month before the show and I have no time because all I do is work.
At the time, Bündchen's fashion was all about a fun and effortless vibe, as the model often rocked a very dewy and natural makeup look to accompany her fashion choices. A particular trend we got to see her rock numerous times during this period was sheer clothing. One of her best sheer trend moments happened at a 2003 MTV Video Music Awards party hosted by PlayStation, during which her top left little to the imagination. Of course, there are some styling mistakes to avoid when trying to nail the sheer trend, but as Bündchen was an expert at it, she rarely had any fashion faux pas. As the mid-2000s were approaching, Bündchen, who was in her mid-20s at the time, was often attending red carpet events. For those engagements, she opted for floor-length mermaid silk gowns that perfectly accentuated her curves, like the one she wore in 2004 for the premiere of the action comedy movie Taxi in New York City.
On the ground now! In this skirt? I don't think so.
She decided to go with a simple off-white silk gown that not many could pull off. However, our favorite look from this era is definitely the coral pink silk Christian Dior Haute Couture by John Galliano dress, with delicate embellishments at the top and bottom, which she wore to the 2006 Met Gala. While Bündchen was at the top of the modeling world at this time, this doesn't mean she always found it to be a perfect lifestyle. In a conversation with Vanity Fair, Bündchen also admitted, "Let me tell you, being a model is not so glamorous as you think. Sometimes you stand around in little clothes in the freezing winter in Iceland. Sometimes you burn up for hours in the sun on the beach. It is a good job, but it's a job. You listen to Gisele on that one, okay?" By the late 2000s, Bündchen had become a certified fashion icon, one that millions of fans looked up to. In 2008, she became the spokesmodel for Max Factor.
Behind the scenes, a casually dressed Gisele trades her stilettos for sneakers while prepping for the Factor photo shoot.
Their associate marketing director Bruce Katzman told Today, "She's the image of our high-fashion consumer. It's not so much about her look, per se. She's rocked the runways, so she's perceived as a great canvas. We think she does the same thing for makeup." But while many adored her for her glamorous style, Bündchen admitted that being fashionable wasn't really a priority of hers when picking an outfit. She told the outlet, "I've never been one of those girls who was a fashion girl. I didn't have to have the bag or belt of the season. I like fashion, I like clothes. I enjoy when I look nice, but my main concern is how comfortable I'm going to be all day." In fact, proving how humble and down-to-earth she is, Bündchen admitted to Harper's Bazaar in 2009 that she doesn't really think of herself as a supermodel. She said, "I really don't feel like that word. It doesn't resonate for me. It doesn't define me. As long as I'm a good person and I do things from the heart, that's all that matters." While Bündchen may not have thought of herself as a supermodel, the world couldn't have disagreed more. Naturally, she became a staple at the Met Gala, the fashion event of the year. In 2007, she showed up to the event in a gorgeous Yves Saint Laurent gown with edgy black detailing, and a year later, she graced the Met Gala in a silk Versace gown with risky cutouts. As Bündchen entered her 30s, she became even more daring and unpredictable with her fashion and beauty choices. For the 2010 Met Gala, she opted to go with a black Alexander Wang leather mini dress with a fringe at the hemline. To make the look even more dramatic, she paired the dress with a lived-in smoky eye that was the perfect balance between messy and glamorous. In a conversation with the Los Angeles Times in 2010, Bündchen admitted that she, just like everyone else, also goes through days where she doesn't feel confident and doubts herself. She said, "Everyone has those days. Just stop for a minute and think about all the things I'm grateful for and the feeling goes right away. Other days a little mascara and some lip balm can do the trick." In 2011, Bündchen launched her second clothing line, the brand C&A, revealing that she enjoys the process of designing a lot more than modeling. She revealed on her blog, "C&A invited me to create a collection that has my signature personal style. It was really cool being involved in the design side of the fashion business. It is more fun to be part of the process and not just a model. My goal with the collection is for it to look fashionable and be super comfy." By 2012, Bündchen had 2 children with then-husband NFL quarterback Tom Brady, and it changed her forever.
I just felt so empowered, you know? And I felt so ready now. You can throw anything at me and I can take it.
Motherhood, of course, changed her style as well, and her model off-duty look became a big part of her fashion influence. She was all about oversized jackets and monochromatic looks, both of which simplified her daily routine while still allowing her to look fashionable. In fact, she was one of the stars who popularized the trend in the mid-2010s. As a mother, Bündchen was now using her voice to advocate for authenticity. She told Fashionista in 2013, "I feel like women should be really real and raw, and it doesn't really happen anymore in fashion photographs. I love that feeling of, we are women, we are so different, our imperfections are what make us unique and beautiful." In 2010, Bündchen wowed us with another intricate Met Gala look. She wore a black Balenciaga gown with tiny cutouts throughout, giving the appearance of lace. Her street style continued reigning supreme, and one of our favorite looks is undoubtedly the beige ensemble she wore while out and about in New York City in March 2015. The Sherpa jacket and bell-bottom jeans added a flair of 70s nostalgia to a very modern look. In 2015, Bündchen retired from the runway. She wrote on Instagram, "I am grateful that at 14 I was given the opportunity to start this journey. Today, after 20 years in the industry, it is a privilege to be doing my last fashion show by choice and yet still be working in other facets of the business." During an episode of Tea at the Beatrice, Bündchen opened up about how different the world's perception of her is. She said, "For a long time, a lot of people would project the image of Gisele, of the sex bomb and stuff, which is nothing to do with really who I am." In 2016 and 2017, Bündchen gave us numerous breathtaking looks, such as the one she wore for the Olympics in Rio.
Gorgeous. So it's a gold dress.
And it's heavy.
Exactly.
Yes.
And there's a very long tail.
Others included edgy cutouts, a trend that was huge at the time. Showing off her back was also a staple in the supermodel's fashion arsenal, and her 2017 Met Gala look is the best example of that. For the annual event, Bündchen, who was a co-chair for the evening, went with a delicate Stella McCartney gown with a bare back. The look proved to be the perfect balance between glamorous and sultry, and the material was an eye-catching choice. In 2016, Bündchen acknowledged that it was her hard work that brought her to the top. She told the New York Times, "I always knew that even if I was not the most beautiful girl, I'd be the most energetic and hardworking." The late 2010s gave us some of Bündchen's most stunning fashion moments, and 2 of our favorites occurred at the Met Gala. In 2018, she showed up to the New York City event in a champagne silk gown by Versace, one that perfectly cascaded over her curves. The asymmetrical silhouette added a modern touch, and the supermodel's hair, makeup, and accessories were the perfect addition to an already ethereal look. Speaking of ethereal, a year later, she attended the gala in a flowy, dusty pink Dior gown that was just as ethereal as the one she wore a year prior, yet completely different. In a candid conversation with Harper's Bazaar in 2018, she reflected on her youth, remembering that becoming a fashion model wasn't a big interest of hers. She said, "I was a good girl, I was a tomboy. I was someone whose big breasts has embarrassed her since she'd hit puberty. I was a girl gripped by the fear that my family would feel so embarrassed they would never speak to me again. I was terrified." Throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, we unsurprisingly got to see Bündchen in her most casual editions. Of course, as the entire fashion industry was put on hold, Bündchen was mostly spotted running errands with her children or attending NFL games with them. For those outings, the supermodel stuck with simple and monochromatic athleisure looks, mostly in black. In fact, her choices only highlight the color psychology of black clothing and why we love wearing it so much. In 2020, Bündchen entered her 40s, an age that women in the modeling industry traditionally fear. For Bündchen, though, entering her 40s felt great. She told Vogue in 2022, "I think I feel better in my 40s than I did in my 20s, and not just physically, because we're all told that life is over at 40, and I feel like I'm just beginning." Bündchen's personal life went through a major change in the early 2020s as she and Tom Brady finalized their divorce in 2022. It was a bittersweet thing for her, as she told Robin Roberts.
And now I get to create, is a new season, is a new chapter in my life.
Freshly divorced, Bündchen was all about exuding confidence in her 40s. In the summer of 2023, she began dating jiu-jitsu instructor Joaquim Valente, and a year later, the two welcomed their first child together. Bündchen's newfound happiness was also evident in her public appearances, as the supermodel looked super radiant wherever she went. With these changes in her private life, Bündchen allowed herself to have some more fun with her fashion. In fact, funky red carpet dresses and dramatic coats for casual outings became a staple for her. In 2023, Bündchen attended the Met Gala in a show-stopping white gown by Chanel, a piece that truly made her look like an angel. While the supermodel wasn't one to experiment with her hair or makeup too much, Bündchen has become even more daring with age when it comes to clothing. Now in her mid-40s, Bündchen remains one of the most well-known supermodels in the world. While she's slowed down and focused on her family life, she hasn't said goodbye to the fashion industry entirely. In 2025, she collaborated with the brand Marco Polo on a campaign for their beachy and sustainable fashion line. She said in a promo video she shared on Instagram, "Nature is a huge part of my life every day. When I take my dog out, I just go barefoot so I can just feel the earth underneath my feet. Anytime I'm in nature, I feel like I'm being healed." As she's becoming more vocal about her love for nature, her style has also become simplified and very comfortable. She added, "Natural fabrics for me are a must, not only for my health, but for the health of the planet. If you have linens, cottons, and things that are not synthetic, I think they are a lot healthier for you because they allow your skin to breathe."